Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and in today's segment I want to discuss with you weight loss for the body by looking at your soul. And this isn't necessarily meant to be some sort of like metaphysical blah 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 type of thing. I just want to be straight and direct with you guys. I've gotten a lot of feedback about the videos I've done with regards to like how I lost 70 pounds and juicing and smoothies, and many people have sent requests through the website for videos related to like coaching and like inspiration, but not really that, more of like the theory behind it. I think one thing that we can all recognize fairly soon into it is that even though you may be focusing on the body of things, like calorically speaking, you may be able to physiologically restrict calories for a person and have them lose weight, but is it going to stay? Is it going to last, right? And I just want to share with you what worked for me and what I found to be helpful in the process. Okay, so first off, you have to understand something about me. Growing up, and I really should interview my parents for this to get some insight, but growing up, I was a very smart young lady. And I'm not trying to say this to sound like, you know, like a pompous a-hole, but I'm trying to give some perspective here. I was a very smart young lady. Consistently in the top of my class, consistently testing in the usually 98th percentile and above on just about everything. Until I hit math in 8th grade, and then it was just like downhill. But it was very difficult to be a smart girl who was also fat. Let's call a spade here. By the time that I was 12 years old, I was in excess of 220 pounds. I think that at one point I got up to 224 or 5. And at 5'3", I remember going to school, I think it was 6th grade, and I had two outfits, that I wore. And one of them I wore 2 and 3 days a week. And that doesn't, like, first world problems, Patriot Nurse, but, you know, that's not a huge thing. But in the mind of a girl growing up who's already smart and who's already, like, on the far end of the bell-shaped curve as far as, like, friends to associate with, right? That adds another layer of challenge, right? So I think we have to understand that in order to lose weight effectively, it's more than just dropping the weight. It's more than just fitting into your favorite pair of pants. There's a lot of baggage that we have to pull off as well. There's a lot of things that we have to drop. More than just the weight, but you have to drop the baggage of all of the heart hurts that come along with that. And this doesn't just go for people who are fat. This can also go for people who are extremely thin as well. There's, you know, people get ostracized for not fitting into the mold. Blessedly, I think this is changing a little bit. But the thing that ended up changing me was the fasting, Miracle of Fasting. I'll put a link down in the description box below. I think I have it over here. The Miracle of Fasting, it changed my life because what it did, I think, was to allow me dignity and to really force me to be disciplined and to have mastery over my body. I think that a lot of the damage that gets done to people when they live so many years of their life with this mantle, with this yoke of just straight up cruelty and oppression that people label, you know, you're fatty or you're this, that, and the other. It's like, you can lose the weight, but that label is still like right up here. So then what? And this is part of the problem. This is part of why people relapse. I don't care whether it's alcohol or food or drugs or whatever. The crux of the issue is not just about the weight in many cases. It is, what is this behavioral pattern that is undergirding me medicating myself through food, right? Because that really is what an addiction is. I'm medicating something way deep down in here, some heart hurt that I'm not processing well, or something that's so deep of a wound that I don't even know where it began. And so the way I'm going to deal with that is to medicate it in one way. And so many people use food as a medication for their heart hurts, right? So we shouldn't be surprised that in the event of heart hurts coming back, or, you know, a breakup or something traumatic, that people start going back to those habits and lose control over it again, right? To relapse, as it were. But then, you know, it's one thing to fall off the wagon, but it's another thing to stay in the dirt. And that's where a lot of the shift happens. So let's have some answers here. Let's talk about this, you know, dealing with the soul in order to master the body. I am, by no means a stick figure. I think on average I weigh 155 to 156 pounds, size 12 pants, and that is where I stay, pretty much. That is where I stay. When I lose more than that, I don't look right. So for me, it wasn't about getting some type of number. It's about, okay, I'm dealing with the issues here that are deep in there. And I think when it comes right down to it, to instill a sense of dignity in a person is probably the most valuable endeavor in weight loss, okay? Because that dignity is like the rudder that's going to steer your ship, right? That dignity, if I have dignity, and I say, you know what, I'm not going to eat that because I know the consequences of that is I'm going to feel bad the next day, and if I keep doing that, then I'm going to get big and big and big and big, and I don't want that for myself. I want better for myself than that. That sense of dignity in a person empowers them to say no to some things and yes to something else. And I watched a YouTuber, her name is Rivka Malka, and she's a wise lady. She gives a lot of commentary. She's a religious Jewish lady, and she gives a lot of commentary on different life events. And she mentioned something, and I thought it was really important. She said, boundaries. What a boundary is functionally, I am looking at all of the options here on the table, and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to say no to these and yes to these, with the understanding that every time I say no to something, I'm saying yes to something else. And conversely, every time I say yes to something, I'm saying no to something else. So for instance, if we're dealing with a diet plan or we're dealing with weight loss struggles, if I say no to working out, what am I saying yes to? Sitting at home and being sedentary, probably sitting home and eating more, probably not going to feel good about myself the next day. Okay. If I say no to the cupcake, what am I saying yes to? I'm saying yes to feeling mastery over something. I'm saying potentially yes to a piece of fruit, or yes to treating myself to a walk with a friend, or watching a funny movie or something like that. So dignity empowers a person to be able to set those boundaries and make decisions. Dignity is the powerhouse. It is the engine for weight loss. More than controlling calories, more than going and exercising. That will fail eventually. You're not going to be able to be 100% all the time, right? And a lot of people, right about now, it's at the end of January, a lot of people start falling off the wagon right now with their resolutions. And I think part of this is because we haven't really hit the root of the issue. The root of the issue, many times, with people who are struggling, I was one of them, struggling to lose that weight, is that there's something in that person that is broken and that is hurt. So I think addressing that and really kind of taking your soul to task in a way and sitting back and thinking, what is it that I'm really so hurt about right now that I'm trying to medicate through food? What is it that I'm craving? What is it that feeling that I need, that food is the patch? You know, a lot of people are walking around with food addiction. I'm not saying that everybody who struggles with their weight is addicted to food, but an awful lot of people who are addicted to food struggle with their weight. So I think dignity and owning that we have inherent value as human beings, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that we deserve to prosper and to live and to flourish and to enjoy life. When we have that sense of dignity, making difficult choices becomes a little bit easier. We're still going to have to exert a little bit of willpower behind it, but when you put on dignity, and think about it like, and Rivka Malka actually said this on the YouTube video, every day that I get dressed and I put my clothes on or whatever, I want you to consciously, if you're struggling with this, consciously visualize, I'm putting on dignity today. And you can even say it. Like I do this whenever I begin dry practice, actually, whenever I'm doing pistol dry practice. I am now beginning dry practice for this amount of time. So whenever you're starting your day out, I am now putting on dignity. I deserve to live a full life. I deserve to live a happy life. I deserve to walk with intention and with discipline, so that way my soul shines bright through this body. I hope that was helpful for y'all today. If you enjoyed the video today, please subscribe to me, like me on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter. Also, if you are interested in learning more about taking care of your family for disasters, come out and take a class. Medical Prep 101 and 201 are all over the country. Check out the full schedule at the website, thepatriotnurse.com. I hope it was helpful for y'all today. And for now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I will see y'all later. Bye.